Hi, I'm Ellen Miller, Executive Director of the Sunlight Foundation, and I'm delighted to participate in this meeting in Ottawa in October.
How is the web different today than it has been? What are the new opportunities it presents to engage citizens?
Well, the world of technology is changing politics in a dramatic fashion. Citizens want to be change agents, and part of Sunlight's role has been to give them opportunities. The new technology allows us to do this. And to this end, we've developed a number of projects which demonstrate, I think, the power of citizens to get involved in holding their lawmakers accountable and generally to engage in a new way of civic participation. We created a wiki on Congress called Congresspedia, which has citizen editors contributing information both about issues and about members of Congress. We've created a project called the Open House Project, which has been an online collaborative effort of maybe 120 citizens, many of them expert in their fields, and many of them just average citizens who want to bring the House of Representatives into the 21st century from a technological point of view. We created another website called opencongress.org, and this is a site that tries to make information about Congress and the legislation it passes user-friendly, understandable to average citizen, and then it combines that with information about who's blogging the most about legislation and who's writing most about it in the mainstream media. We've created a number of citizen journalism projects and asked citizens throughout the country, indeed throughout the world, to participate in evaluating members' websites, lawmakers' websites, to see how well they present information about their work. One of the other major goals of Sunlight has been to create data sets, sets of information about what members of Congress do, and to digitize them, to put them on the internet in ways that make it easy for citizens to download and study the results of these. It's one thing, of course, to create data sets where none exist, but the other thing that Sunlight has done is to attempt to free the data out of their data silos and enable the data to be matched. We want citizens to be able to connect the dots. One example of this is that we took a list of earmarks that the government created, and we put them on a Google map. And then we asked citizens to research by putting in their own zip code as to whether there were earmarks in their district, and we also encouraged them to ask their members of Congress, why did this organization or that university receive an earmark and another one did not? So we are using both the data and these various websites that present government information to make it easier for citizens to engage in a dialogue with their members of Congress. So these are a number of efforts that we have used to engage citizens, and all of them have been very much welcomed.
Why is it useful to debate these issues? How the internet affects civil discourse, and what is government's role?
Well, the internet is changing everything about our modern life. It changes how we shop, it changes how we order our groceries, it changes how we make decisions about travel, and it's changing how citizens interact with their government. There is no choice but to debate these issues, and it's hugely important that we do so because of the transformative nature of the internet and the relationship it can have between elected officials and citizens. So this is something that must be debated and should be in the forefront of talking about the relationship between the constituents of elected members of Congress. And both sides, frankly, citizens and elected officials, would be foolish to ignore the huge potential this offers to engage citizens in the practice of democracy. What should be government's role in the use of the internet? Well, in terms of the focus of the Sunlight Foundation, we believe that government should take on the role, particularly Congress should take on the role of disclosing its information online in searchable, downloadable formats. We think that transparency is an antidote to the possible perception that Congress or members of Congress are individually or as an institution corrupt. And so the more transparency there is, the more sunlight there is, the more the body politic will feel that there is less to hide and more openness and perhaps come to trust the institution even more. We believe it's government's role to provide information like the money we spend on government grants and contracts and who that goes to. We believe that members of Congress, rather than filing reports like who they have invested their money with, information that would be contained on personal financial disclosure documents and on pieces of paper, should be disclosing that online. We believe that all the campaign finance information for both House candidates and U.S. Senate candidates ought to be disclosed electronically so that it is more quickly and easily accessible. And we think, importantly, that lobbyists ought to disclose a broader range of information and disclose all of that online. This is a government function. It's our money they use, they spend to enact programs, and we should demand, citizens should demand more transparency, and we should demand the use of the internet to provide it to all citizens.